People believed something very different about their gardens. They believed the land was alive, they believed it listened, and they believed the quiet days of winter decided the fate of the entire growing year. In cottages, farms, monasteries, and village homes, gardeners followed small gentle rituals in January, not because they were told to do so, but because their grandparents had, and their grandparents before them. To forget these traditions was thought to invite bad harvests, sick animals and empty pantries. Today we're stepping back into those old beliefs, into the whispered rules and hidden superstitions that once protected gardens throughout the long dark months of winter. Because according to folklore, the year does not truly begin in spring, it begins in silence. In old English villages, pruning on New Year's Day was forbidden. Cutting living branches on the first day of the year was believed to cut away luck, growth and prosperity. Fruit trees were especially sacred. A wounded apple or pear tree on January the 1st was said to return the injury with poor blossom and weak harvests. Gardeners would wait, watching frost glitter on bare twigs, letting the trees rest undisturbed, as if the land itself was holding its breath. Another belief was even more personal. The very first flower you noticed in January was believed to shape your year. If the first bloom was a snowdrop, it was meant as hope and renewal. If it was ivy, protection and loyalty would surround your home. If it was holly, strength would carry you through trials. And if dead nettle or thorn was the first to catch your eye, people feared a harder year ahead. Some families would walk quietly their gardens each morning, watching, waiting, almost as if they were reading a living fortune. It was also believed that a garden must never be left completely bare in winter. Evergreens were not just decorative, they were guardians. Holly, ivy, rosemary and box were left standing to hold life in the land, to keep illness, poverty and grief from settling in the soil. A garden stripped of green was thought to become spiritually empty, and an empty garden would invite empty cupboards. Birds were considered messengers between the living and the unseen. To forget them in winter was believed to break the blessing of the coming harvest. Bread crusts, oats, fat and seeds were scattered along fences and hedges, not only out of kindness, but out of fear of losing harmony, health and protection over the home. To feed the birds was to feed your future. Fruit trees were spoken to. In January, gardeners would stand beneath apple, pear and plum branches and quietly thank them for the year just past. They would ask gently for another season of blossom and fruit. Some tied ribbons to the limbs. Some pressed their palms to the bark. Some simply whispered gratitude in the cold air. The trees, it was believed, remembered. Sweeping the garden path on New Year's Day was avoided. Sweeping symbolised removing fortune. Fallen leaves were left untouched, allowed to shelter both soil and luck. Even the smallest gesture mattered. The very first turning of the soil each year was done slowly and carefully. To strike the ground harshly was to wake the land in anger. An angry land gave poor harvests. Hands were preferred over tools. The earth was treated not as dirt but as something alive and listening. Near many cottage doors a small bowl of salt was placed. Salt was believed to draw away sickness, envy and ill fortune. Later in winter that salt would be buried in the garden, returning protection back into the soil itself. These traditions may sound quiet, small, almost invisible, but for centuries they were believed to decide whether families ate, whether children stayed well, and whether the land continued to give. So if your garden feels silent right now, it may not be sleeping, it may be listening. Thank you for watching, and until next time.